Welcome to the, as of right now, unnamed podcast.
The unnamed podcast. I'm Luke.
And I'm Daulton.
So, we haven't done this for a while. It's been about a month.
It's been a while.
So, how was Jackie Brown?
Oh.
Because I didn't watch it.
Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown was alright for what it was, but it's kind of a weird movie for...
It's not his best. I mean,
No.
Think about it. Okay, you did Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Which was this really successful, independent, awesome movie. Then you do Pulp Fiction, which gets you nominated for an Academy Award that makes you one of the it directors in Hollywood.
Yeah.
How do you follow those two up?
With Jackie Brown.
Exactly.
And whatever that was.
Exactly. Now, Kill Bill was not written fully yet. He had a version of it when he did Jackie Brown, but he didn't like it. He actually would change it.
Yeah.
So you didn't have Kill Bill ready. He's had Inglourious Bastards ready since the 80s, but he's never had the right time that he could have released it. So really, Jackie Brown was the only thing he could have done.
Yeah.
I think.
And, it wasn't a bad movie. It's just...
Star-studded.
Yeah.
Star-studded.
Very star-studded.
Including a guy who we're going to talk about tonight, Michael Keaton.
Yep. He's great in that movie. I didn't realize he was in it.
Yeah. He's great in everything he's done.
He really
Even
is.
Jack Frost. Horrible movie, but he's great in that too.
But Jackie Brown to me it was good, but it felt like it should have been earlier than it did. It was.
Should have been his first movie.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
I feel like his first movie.
It's his worst of his 7 movies, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I've not seen all of Kill Bill. I'll admit that, but I love the parts of it that I do.
Maybe Death Proof is worse.
Okay, but is Death Proof actually one of his movies?
Is
it one of the 7?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was Robert Rodriguez.
Nope. Robert Rodriguez did Planet Terror.
So
yeah.
I've never seen Death Proof. I'm not gonna lie.
Death Proof it's good for what it is, but
it's supposed
by
to
all
be a
means,
cheesy...
it is not a good movie.
It's supposed to be a cheesy movie. So this week, we're going to kind of just talk in general about some movie news because we've missed out on a lot. We're not going to review Jackie Brown because some jackass didn't watch it. And then we're going to talk about the trailers. I'm excited to talk about these trailers. 4 big trailers premiered in the last month. We'll talk about that. And then we did go see Big Hero 6. And then we also saw a film called Horrible Bosses 2 that I think we have different opinions on.
I think so. Maybe just a little bit.
So let's start with movie news.
Fun movies, though.
They were fun movies. Let's start with some movie news. We'll start with these leaks. The Sony leaks. If you haven't heard about it, apparently this organization, they're called something about global peace, or I don't know.
Something
some
like that.
hippie organization out of the movie The East. But anyway... So they're protesting The Interview, which I want to talk about tonight too, because that's one of the movies I'm most excited about here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So they're protesting The Interview because Kim Jong-un, the biggest douchebag in the world, said that he would react if America released that movie. Of course, hollow threats, because North Korea just has penis envy, and they just have to show that they're masculine, even though they're just little sissy girls over there. But he said he's going to act if they release the film. So this group is protesting it by hacking into Sony. They released 4 or 5 movies, including Fury, which is still in theaters. And then they also released some emails between some Sony execs. Now, one of those emails, Dalt, was that they are going to do a crossover movie between 21 Jump Street and Men in Black.
I'd heard about that.
Okay, now see, our reactions, I can tell just by looking at you, our reactions to this news have been different as well. You're not excited about this.
I don't know.
Dalt, I have movie wood. I have cinephile wood thinking about this. Think about, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are 2 people who you would never thought of in a movie together being hilarious and action.
That's true.
Superstars. Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill are 2 people you would have never thought would have been in the same movie together and actually were comedic gold. The only reason I like Channing Tatum is because of this movie. I was not a fan of his until 21 Jump Street came out, and now I love Jonah Hill. Or Channing Tatum. I've always loved Jonah. He's my pudgy little movie friend. So you're not excited about this? It's got to be done right.
I am excited about it, but it is one of those things where it does have to be done right. It's I feel like it's
How about
really
this?
exciting, but there's so much potential for that to just go wrong.
How about this? James Gunn directs it.
I would be okay with that.
How about this? Joss Whedon directs it.
I don't know if I'd be okay with that.
Joss Whedon is funny.
I love Joss Whedon's
Whedon is
movies.
very
I love
funny.
his work, but I don't know if
Firefly
I
was
could
very
see.
funny.
Firefly was great, but I don't know if I could see him directing that. Maybe.
What about Tim Burton?
Oh yeah, I'd love a Tim Burton.
No.
Tim Burton should direct everything.
Tim Burton's not funny.
No.
He's not funny at all.
Tim Burton should not stay away from that movie.
Because he directed the first Men in Black?
Or
Or maybe he produced the first Men in Black.
I don't know. Did he have something to do with the first?
He
Men
had
in
something
Black?
to do with
Huh.
it, yeah. Yeah. Well, Danny Elfman definitely...
Danny Elfman had something to do with it.
Yeah, of course. If Burton's there, Elfman's there, right? So that was an interesting bit of news that came out of this hack. I would like... What's another movie you'd like to see crossover? 2 movies you'd like to see crossover. Non-superhero.
Huh. Non-superhero, I'd have to say, you know what I'd love to see is Will Smith's Wild Wild West and Django Unchained.
That would be interesting.
That
because
would
Will
be very
Smith was supposed
interesting.
to be Django.
Yeah.
So it'd be full circle. I'm going to go Tarantino and Will Smith as well. I'm going to go Jules, and why can I never remember his name? And Vincent, and Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith.
There
so
you
Men
go.
in Black meet Vincent Vega and Jules from Pulp Fiction.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be a good
I'd be down
crossover.
for that.
So speaking of like crossover and rally, Universal announced a couple of weeks ago
Oh,
that
yeah.
they are actually kind of taking... Actually, they're not taking the idea of what Marvel and DC are doing, because Universal actually did this in the 30s, 40s. They're going to re-release the Universal Monster movies as single-shot movies.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have a rally movie, which they did in the 30s,
Really?
in the 40s.
Never
So
knew that.
all these movies... So in the 30s, they did Dracula, Frankenstein. In the 40s, they did the Wolfman. Then in the 40s, they were very keen on combining those. So you had Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, you had Dracula
Okay,
meets
yeah.
Frankenstein, you had Abbott and Costello in the 50s meet Frankenstein. That included all 3 of them. House of
Yeah.
Dracula, House of Frankenstein. So they're actually taking their idea from the 30s and doing it now when everyone else is doing it, like Marvel,
DC, apparently 21 Jump Street.
Sony is apparently doing this. So I'm actually really excited. The only thing is they already said Dracula Untold is part of that.
Yeah.
Which I'm still curious to see.
Dracula
but
Untold
it didn't
looks
look
cool.
like a Universal Monster
But
movie to me.
from what I've heard, I think it's more action-oriented. They're trying to make the Universal Monster movie Avengers.
That's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it updated and relevant culturally, like they've done with Thor and Iron Man
Yeah.
and all those characters that weren't mainstream characters 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So
So-
that's what they're trying to do with Universal.
So was, what was that movie with Aaron Eckhart?
I, Frankenstein.
I, Frankenstein. Was that part of this?
No, that was based off of a graphic novel.
Oh,
That's
okay.
similar to I, Vampire.
Yeah.
Which I would much rather have seen an I, Vampire movie than an I, Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
But no, there's going to be a Frankenstein's monster movie. There's going to be a Wolfman movie. They're not going to go off the 2010 Wolfman, Benicio del
Yeah.
Toro. And then A Creature from the Black Lagoon is what I'm hearing as well. And then they're all 4 going to be in one film together. If it's done right, then I see this working out very well.
It could be interesting.
As we're filming this, by the way, I'm staring at a Wolfman poster, a 1941 Wolfman poster. So I'm a huge...
And it is staring back.
It is staring back. I'm a huge Universal Monster fan. That's what really got me into film in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, but at the same time I'm hesitant, because every time they've kind of redone Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman the last 60 years, it hasn't been done well.
It's always been a little off.
I liked the 2010 Wolfman. I didn't think it was perfect. There's a lot of things that I think Joe Johnson directed it.
I think so.
Yeah, Joe Johnson directed it, which he's a big action guy. Now The Mummy is one that they're rebooting as well to be part of this.
That's right.
I did like the 90s Mummies.
I liked
the
the
first
first
2. Yeah, the second one's okay.
Second one,
I think they tried to really hit The Rock and make The Rock be much more popular, and with the whole Scorpion King. But the first Mummy is
Mummy is great.
I'll watch anything with Rachel Weisz in it, but the first Mummy is a great... And I love Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
So the first Mummy is fantastic. But really, other than that, Universal has kind of struck out. I will say, one of the best movies of all time, though, is a rally movie, Monster Squad.
Oh yeah. Fantastic movie.
Fantastic movie. So what do you... You're kind of a monster, Universal Monsters
Yeah,
guy.
I like
You kind
him.
of grew up on the Abbott and Costello a
Yeah.
little bit, right?
I think it's a cool idea. I haven't seen Dracula Untold, so I'm really not sure how it will work out. To me, Dracula Untold looks like a really fun movie. It looks like almost like a Castlevania movie.
That's kind of what I thought it was when I saw the trailer. But it does sort of look like a sword and sandal type movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm not keen on, unless
Me neither.
it's 300.
But like, I guess it kind of just depends on where they go next. If
It's a good point.
if everyone sticks around when this time that Dracula's in Dracula Untold, I'll be a little less interested. But if they show up in like Victorian London or something next, I would be a little more
That's a good...
inclined to.
If they do an origin of each of these monsters and then go on to tell more of the story, more of the classic story, I'll be very interested in this. If it's all from this time period, like you're saying in Dracula, the 1400s,
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I mean, I know the Vlad the Impaler story, and yeah, they changed it, but I don't know. It's like the Bible movies. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all fiction, but I'm just not that interested in this Dracula one. I don't know. Speaking of, Exodus comes out tonight at 8 o'clock.
Exodus.
10 o'clock. What do you think?
They did this movie before, and it was better when it was called The Prince of Egypt.
That's not the Charlton Heston Let My People Go, is it?
That's the, I think 1998 DreamWorks cartoon.
Let My People Go?
No,
the
Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt. Oh, see, I have no idea.
I'm not the most... Well, I don't want to offend anybody with this, but not the most religious person around.
Oh,
So
you're
I
talking to Pope Lucas here. This is Pope Lucas the First. If you have a problem with Catholicism and Judaism, man, you've got a problem with me. Snarkiness, by the way.
Anyway, so I don't know the story by heart, but I think it was much better done in the movie The Prince of Egypt.
Let me tell you the best story about Passover. The Rugrats Hanukkah special, Passover special.
Oh, yeah.
Like 1994. They told the story of Moses and his people because Tommy is Jewish, apparently, in the cartoon. But I know there's a big hubbub because they're all white actors, and everyone knows Jesus was white. I mean, he was born in an area of the world where people are predominantly brown-skinned, but he was white. I mean, he was the one white person in all of the brown-skinned population. So I have a problem with Exodus because Christian Bale is a white man.
Yeah.
I don't get Christian Bale's roles. Can we talk about that for a second?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. It seems like whenever he does something great, he follows it up with something really shitty.
It does kind of seem like that, huh?
Yeah.
What are some examples, though?
Okay.
I can't really think of...
Like, he goes from American Psycho to, I'm going to have to get on IMDb.
Well,
American Psycho, I mean, obviously is something forgettable. But I'll give you the more recent one. Okay, he goes from The Dark Knight
to The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, no, he had a movie. Well, he did The Fighter, so that was kind of a different. And he was great in that. He
was great in that.
Then he went from
Dark Knight
Out
Rises.
of the Furnace and American Hustle to Exodus.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a good
There
example.
we go.
I'm going to pull Christian Bale up because I know he's kind of gone.
In case it wasn't obvious, I kind of have completely forgotten about The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises was a great movie.
It was a movie.
I can't believe you.
I don't remember The Dark Knight Rises. Let's just leave it at that.
How do you not?
Because
It's on TV all the time. How do you not remember it?
I don't like to watch 3-hour movies on TV.
We may have to edit the part where we messed up. Okay, so we went from American Psycho to Shaft.
Oh, okay.
To Shaft.
To the Sam Jackson Shaft.
To the Sam. Then he did Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Never even heard of that.
Reign of Fire.
Oh, the dragon one. Him and Matthew McConaughey.
Equilibrium. The Machinist.
And then Batman Begins.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Good movie.
And then Batman Begins. And then he followed that with Harsh Times, which is an independent flick. The
So
New
it's-
World, which is the story of
That's-
Pocahontas.
Is that the Pocahontas? That's
It's
Colin
the
Farrell's
John
in
Smith.
that, isn't he?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the John Smith.
Yeah.
Rescue Dawn. The Prestige.
Very
which I
good
don't know.
movie.
Is it a good movie? I've never
Great
seen it.
movie. I'm gonna have to let you borrow it sometime.
310 to Yuma.
From what I've heard, that's really good too.
He did The Dark Knight, and then he did Terminator Salvation.
Okay.
And then Public Enemies.
Heard that's
then,
good.
Then The Fighter. He followed The Fighter up with The Flowers of War. He did Dark Knight Rises, and then he did 3 straight really good movies. He did Dark Knight Rises, Out of the Furnace, which, if you've not seen Out of the Furnace, he's better in that than he is, I think, most of his other films, and that says a lot. But Out of the Furnace is a great film. American Hustle. I'm dying to see American Hustle.
Me too.
If you want to give me something for Christmas, anybody, the American Hustle Blu-ray, because I am dying to see that film. I watched about 20 minutes on a Stars free preview last weekend.
Yeah.
It's such the dialogue in it.
Oh,
David
yeah.
O. Russell's
David O.
dialogue.
Russell's great director.
But he follows up American Hustle with Exodus, and I just don't get.
It's kind of odd.
Yeah.
I think my main concern, I guess, with that is like, well, I guess not even a concern. I'm just kind of wondering why they're turning all of these religious movies into like these like
Grand
epics. Because Noah came out, was it last year?
April.
April.
This
It was
year.
it was this year.
The same year we'll have 2.
Where basically it was Russell Crowe's last stand at
Yeah.
the Ark.
Right. Yeah, I do remember the Noah story a little bit from Sunday school, and I don't remember Noah fighting anybody.
Yeah.
And I thought that Moses was the one who controlled the water, and then Noah turns out to have been parting the whole world ocean when that happened. I have no interest in Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Yeah.
Even if you want to tell it from a historical standpoint, I don't think it was as exciting as this movie makes it out to be. Ridley Scott, I'm kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Ridley Scott fan, but I just don't think that film looks all that fantastic.
Me neither.
A movie that I really want to see is Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher looks good.
It's been out for a month. I'm still waiting for it to go wide release. But that's a movie I'm more looking forward to. And then another movie I talked about a few minutes ago. We got to talk about The Interview. It comes out on Christmas. Are you as excited for this movie as I am?
I am very excited for The Interview.
People think of Seth Rogen as just this dumb, like, poop and dick joke kind of guy. But The Interview is kind of a smart movie.
It really is.
It's kind of an homage to like a Mel Brooks take on
Yeah. You know what? Now you mention it, it
social
really is.
commentary.
Huh?
It's a very Monty Python kind of thing
Yeah.
to do. Because they're taking a topic that most people would not touch, and they're making fun of killing Kim Jong-un. I think it's a smart movie.
It's going to be a good movie.
Oscar. It should win an Oscar. Okay, maybe not
Best
that
Picture.
I'm saying Best Picture. Don't you? Why can't a comedy?
Right?
And that comedy.
That would be a good one.
And why
it's going to
hasn't-
be the one that causes World War III, so might as well.
Exactly. And why hasn't someone thought about this before? About putting a little poison strip on Dennis Rodman's hand. He shakes Kim Jong-un's hand, and then
There
Kim
you
Jong-un
go.
is gone. He's dead.
Unless in the previews, he sneezes and rubs it all over his face.
I would worry about Dennis Rodman rubbing that on somewhere else. Not
Yeah,
his face.
that's
if it was
true.
On Dennis Rodman's hand.
That's
They
very
don't call him
true.
the worm for nothing. Alt. But yeah, that movie. It looks funny. It looks like it has some social relevance. And I'm a big Rogan fan.
Me
and
too.
Franco fan, for that matters. And Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous, smart, funny. She's a great actress.
She's got the whole package.
I wish she had the whole package. But anyway,
One of my favorite jokes from the previews I've seen from The Interview is when James Franco is interviewing Nicki Minaj about her songs.
how has
It's
no
like,
one thought of that joke already?
Right? Tell me about your song Superb Ass.
Superb ass. And
It's
she's like,
it's super bass.
That's great.
It's
That is a great joke.
I'm laughing about that days after I've
Yeah.
seen it.
And that's the thing, is people think that Seth Rogen is a dumb, easy, lowbrow comic. He's very clever. Him and
He
Evan
is.
Goldberg are very clever writers. Very clever writers. And these guys who wrote The Neighbors, they're great writers too.
Great movie, by the way.
It is a great movie.
Speaking of Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, I don't know if you want to change the subject
Yeah,
yet,
let's go.
but did you hear that they're adapting the Preacher comic series into an AMC series?
Yeah, and Kristen... No. I'm sorry, that's a.k.a. Jessica Jones. But
yeah.
The Preacher, That's a Vertigo comic.
Yeah,
Which I'm...
right up your alley.
Vertigo is my favorite comic book company. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. We'll talk about kind of what we're reading.
Okay.
So, yeah. Tell me a little bit about Preacher, because I don't know a ton about it.
I don't know a whole lot about Preacher. It's, as far as I know, it's one of the best comic books of recent times. I think it came out around 2000, 2001. It's about, from what I remember, and I might be wrong about this, it's this preacher, I believe, gets possessed, and he basically goes on a cross-country killing spree. And I think he's specifically going after other possessed people, is from what I know of it. I might be completely wrong.
So it's like if Dexter was a preacher and killed other possessed people.
Yeah, I think.
I dig it. But I was kind of shocked because I'd heard that Preacher was being picked up by AMC. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I wonder who's behind that. And then I heard that it was Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is awesome. Seth Rogen is a huge comic book
He
fan.
is.
When they did The Green Hornet, he was actually a fan of The Green
Yeah.
Hornet. Now, don't hold that against him. I actually like
I like that movie.
I think it was a good movie. Not being a huge Green Hornet fan. I mean, I did watch the old with Bruce Lee as Kato. But I don't think that Seth Rogen's going to do a bad job.
I don't
They're going
think
to write
so.
for it. They'll probably have someone else direct it.
Yeah.
Or like most shows, several people will direct different episodes.
I think he might just kind of oversee the whole thing.
Yeah.
Kind of just make sure that it stays true to the comic he loves.
Who do you think is winning the TV battle right now? Marvel or DC?
I think DC is winning just in sheer numbers, because not everything they've been putting out is great,
Yeah.
but they have more stuff.
Have you watched Gotham yet?
I haven't. I
Neither.
don't think I'm gonna.
I did get into Constantine.
Did you?
Yeah, I gave it a shot. I actually started reading Hellblazer, which we'll talk about here in a second, but I gave it a shot, and about 4 episodes in, they actually went with a comic book story from the very first issue.
Oh, nice.
So I thought it was kind of cool. They changed it, of course, and
Yeah.
they've taken some liberties, but not as many as Gotham has. And actually, Matt Ryan as Constantine is pretty spot on.
I really like Matt Ryan as Constantine.
But the bad news is, right after I got into the show, they said, hey, we're only going to do 13 episodes. And they also said they don't know if they're bringing it back for
I
a
heard
second
about
season.
that.
I'm hoping maybe Netflix will jump on the bandwagon.
Maybe.
Because Netflix is 20 new TV shows a year, original TV shows. So maybe they'll pick it up.
We should talk about that next.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Daredevil's one of those.
Daredevil is one of those.
A.K.A. Jessica Jones.
I'm excited for that one.
Kristen Ritter, if you're listening, I'm available.
I love Kristen Ritter.
So do I.
I am so super excited about that casting. I don't know
much about
anything about Jessica Jones.
I will once the TV show
Yeah.
comes out.
Are you planning on watching those when they come out?
Not Daredevil.
No?
I've never been a fan of Daredevil. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started as like a parody
Yeah.
of Daredevil. But and Kevin Eastman is a genius, of course. But yeah, I'm not a big Daredevil fan. Are you interested in seeing this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I didn't used to like Daredevil, but anyone that's looking for a good comic to read that hasn't read this should definitely check out Mark Waid's run on Daredevil.
You know what happened with Daredevil, right? They made
What?
a horrible movie and it
Oh yeah.
turned people off to Daredevil.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not why I don't like it. I just don't
It
buy
got
the
me
story.
interested in it, but basically I tried to read some. This is a very unpopular opinion, but I do not like Frank Miller's Daredevil.
Okay.
It's it feels like it's trying too hard to be like, and I think this actually came out before Dark Knight, his Dark Knight stuff, but it feels like it's trying too hard to be like Batman. To me, at least.
You know what would make me want to read Daredevil is instead of him fighting crime, he played the piano. If he played the piano instead of fought crime, I would read Daredevil. I just don't buy it. I don't buy a blind guy fighting crime. I'm sorry. Blind people, I love you. You can do a lot of marvelous things, but you can't fight crime. Not in the way that Daredevil does.
It's funny now because now 2 of my favorite Marvel characters are disabled in some way. Daredevil is blind.
Thor's not disabled. He's just from a different time. That's all.
He just doesn't know our ways.
Hulk is just simple. That's all.
But no, Hawkeye is deaf now.
Okay, but you could fight crime being deaf.
Well, yeah,
And actually, here, think about this. If you're deaf and you shoot a gun, you
It's
could
helpful.
shoot a more powerful gun because you don't care if your ears are ringing.
I'm just saying though, it's kind of cool that it might not be the most realistic in some cases, but it's representing some often kind of unrepresented people.
Well, and now there's, you have the Black Captain America, which is cool. You have a gay Green Lantern in DC. So you're right. They are representing other people who aren't just the white, Bruce Wayne, rich white guy. Clark Kent, rich white alien. No, he's not rich. Is he rich? Is Clark Kent rich in the comics?
I don't think so.
How much does he make at the Daily Bugle?
I can't imagine a
30,000
lot, because he doesn't work at the Daily Bugle.
What does he do?
The Daily Planet.
Daily Planet. Oh, Daily Bugle is
I'm getting super nerdy here on our...
Dault just adjusted his suspenders and wipes some snot from his nose, too.
Did I do that?
So, let's talk about...
Terrible Urkel impression.
We're talking about comics. Let's talk about what we're reading right now.
Okay.
I know we're going to do a year-end and talk about our favorite comic book, but what are you reading right now?
Right now, I'm reading a lot of stuff. I checked out that Batman Little Gotham.
Oh, God.
It mostly for the art, but it's fun enough that I can kind of read a little bit at a time.
Is Lil Wayne in it?
Lil Wayne is indeed in it.
Really?
Lil Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Lil Damian Wayne.
It's not Lil Wayne.
It's a family of Lil Waynes.
It's not Lil. It's not Lil Wayne the rapper.
It's not Lil Wayne the rapper.
Is Lil Kim in it?
No.
No Lil Kim.
Lil Barbara's in it, I guess.
Lil Bow Wow?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in it. Okay.
He is.
Lil Joker?
Joker.
That'd be a good rap name.
That would be.
Yo, this is Lil Joker.
But it's an all ages story, so it's kind of but it's fun enough that you can read it in little chunks, I think, if you're not into all ages, but the art in it is absolutely beautiful.
Okay. Dustin
Nguyen? I'm probably butchering that name completely, but Nyugen. Nugent.
We'll say
I don't know. Anyway, he's the artist on it. He writes it. Looks fantastic. If anything, check it out for that.
Yeah, I won't.
On the flip side of that,
are you reading something a little more mature?
Marvel. I'm currently going to start reading Warren Ellis's Moon Knight. It's basically their Batman. He's a mercenary that's possessed by this Egyptian god. And he's kind of, you're not sure whether he really is or if he's kind of just crazy. He has a few different personalities.
That sounds really dark for a Marvel comic.
It really, from what I've looked to it really is.
Okay.
It's, I haven't started it yet, but it's, Warren Ellis's run is 6, standalone issues. I had to think of the word. Basically him solving a different mystery. There's one where he is figuring out, or trying to find someone who's going around stealing people's body parts, and then there's another where he dresses up like an Egyptian god and beats the crap out of punk rocker ghosts.
Okay,
it's kind of
punks ever do to anybody. Okay,
I don't know.
It's the mods who are really crazy asses. Okay, no, that does sound like a cool concept, and it's surprising that it's a Marvel concept.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Vertigo.
It really does look very...
It sounds like Todd McFarlane came up with that, not Warren Ellis or someone like that. Anything else you're reading?
Let's see. There's a lot that I'm reading. For now, I'm going to leave it at those.
Okay. So I've been reading Hellblazer. I started from the very first... I read the New 52 Constantine, didn't really care for it. I'll still read it just because it's Constantine. Started Hellblazer from issue 1. They sell them in the paperbacks.
Yeah.
The collections.
Gotta love those.
Great writing. I'm really... I know Jamie Delano started it, and he did a really nice job the first 30, 40 issues. I'm really looking forward to getting to Dangerous Habits, which is the 40th issue, which is where a lot of the movie came from. The idea of cancer and the devil wanting his soul and things like that.
Garth Ennis wrote Dangerous Habits, didn't he?
Garth Ennis did write Dangerous Habits.
He's the writer of Preacher.
Yeah, he's
bringing it around.
Yeah, full circle. So I'm really excited for Garth Ennis to take over that Constantine Hellblazer run.
I've heard his Hellblazer stuff is fantastic.
I really want to get into Swamp Thing. I loved Swamp Thing as a kid. I remember having toys of Swamp Thing and watching the movies, the TV show.
Yeah.
Reading Hellblazers made me want to get back into Swamp Thing and actually read some of the comics, the early comics.
The Alan Moore stuff.
The Alan Moore, yeah, he created.
I've heard that stuff is great.
Yeah, so I've read that. The other one is something you turned me on to, which I turned my buddy Juan onto as well. Scott Snyder, Stephen King, American Vampire. First of all,
Great
Raphael
series.
Albuquerque's art is tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
I love the art, and it's such a cool story. And I really hope that AMC or HBO or Showtime or Netflix will pick up. Maybe I'll even try and write the screenplay. Why not? I hope someone picks that up because that would make a great show.
That needs to be picked up by everyone.
I think AMC would do a really good job.
I think
if it's
so,
going to
too.
be cable. Otherwise, I'd like to see it R-rated and be on HBO
Yeah.
Showtime. Stars, leave it alone, please. But
Also, I'd like to see Telltale's make a game on that.
let's talk about that. Because I've been reading Fables the last couple months. I started with the first 2. It's coming to an end soon here.
Yeah.
I think they just released the 15th or 16th volume.
I think so. No, I think it was like the 25th.
Okay.
It's a long
It is
series.
a long series. It's not quite as long as Constantine, I don't think.
No. I think it's about 200 issues total when it's all said and
Hellblazer
done.
was 300
Yeah.
when all said and done. But if you haven't read Fables, it is the nursery rhyme, Disney, they're all public, common, I can't think of what it's called.
Public domain.
Public domain, thank you. They're all public domain characters, but they took like Snow White and the Big Bad Wolf and characters like that and then darkened them, as Vertigo does. Made them realistic, put them in New York, modern day Manhattan. Great stories. I really want to read the 3rd volume, but A Wolf Among Us.
Oh, Wolf Among Us.
Xbox, Telltale Games created A Wolf Among Us. It's a story about Bigby Wolf from Fables.
The Big Bad Wolf.
He has to solve a murder. It's a role-playing type game. There's not a lot of action that you actually control. It's a lot of just press this button to have him do this. But the story is so good, and the art is so cool, and the setting, it's such a great little game. It's set up like a TV episode, like a 6-part miniseries. The intro is awesome. I love that theme song and the way that they put it together. Yeah, it would make a great TV show.
It really would.
They're making a Fable movie.
Are they?
They are. 2018, I believe.
I'm looking forward to that now.
No cast set. It's still in development. But yeah, has it made you want to read the comics? I know you started the comics.
I started the comics. It has, and at the same time, it's kind of like, well, now I want to control how the comic goes too.
Right. They're making a season 2 apparently.
Yeah. Next year, unfortunately,
Right,
2016. It's gonna be a wait, but they have some other stuff coming out too. So.
And Telltale also does a Walking Dead game.
Walking Dead season 3 of that's coming out this year.
Okay. Jurassic Park game.
They had one. I think was their original. It was a standalone on a disc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of one that you kind of have to track down if you're interested.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Come on. Man.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
They also have a Game of Thrones game coming out.
Not a big fan of Game of
Me
Thrones.
neither. I'm probably gonna skip that one.
Yeah.
But they also have a Borderlands one that looks just insanely fun.
Now it's kind of an outside of the main Borderlands story, right?
I think from what I've heard, it takes place after the second game.
Okay, but it's not the main characters.
No.
Of Borderlands. Okay.
I think they show up in the story throughout it. From what I've seen, one of the characters from the second game shows up, but it's its own thing. It's set after, so it doesn't really. It might spoil the other two. I don't know. I don't really like Borderlands to begin with.
I was gonna say I've never really played the games.
This one on its own,
great games,
I've
though.
heard that too.
Man.
This one on its own just looks really fun. It looks like it kind of, to me, looks like its own spin on like a Guardians of the Galaxy style game. It's got that humor. It's got that weird sci-fi-ness.
It's almost like a Firefly.
It really is.
And actually, a lot of people want Telltale to do a Firefly game.
That would be amazing.
Which would be amazing, yeah. So we've kind of talked about what we're reading and what we're playing. Let's talk about these trailers that came out.
Oh yeah.
We've got 4. I'm gonna start with what I think most people thought was the least impressive and work to the most impressive.
Oh, okay.
Not what I think, but what I think generally people.
Yeah. Okay.
Terminator Genesis.
Oh yeah.
It's been 27 years.
Since
Or 30 years
the
since
original
came out.
Yeah, 30 some years. Yeah.
Yeah, James Cameron. He did the first 2. Then Judgment Day was horrendous. Salvation. We saw Salvation in the
We
theater.
did. That was like the first movie we went to see together, I think.
One of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was a bad movie. It was on TV the other day, and I watched about 10 minutes, and it doesn't hold up.
It doesn't hold up quite as well,
which is crazy considering it's only 7 years old.
Yeah.
6 years old. 5 maybe. 2009.
2008, I think.
2008. Same year as Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. 2008. So, I'm not a huge Terminator fan. I always liked the first one better than the second one, even though most people think the second one is the best one. I
Yeah.
always thought Robert Patrick was great, but I never liked seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger become the good guy. I've never liked that aspect of Terminator.
See, with me, it's always kind of been, I kind of think of Terminator after the second movie is basically, and I just thought about this after seeing this trailer. I feel like it's almost like an anthology series at this point, where it's basically like different timelines where a Terminator gets sent back.
Yeah.
This new one kind of reinforces that theory, I think. It's it looked, when I first saw the trailer, to me like a remake of the first.
It kind of looks like a remake of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
certain shots that are from each movie.
Yeah. And then it gets to the story, and it, to me, seems as if they're basically just saying, well, which timeline should we throw a Terminator into now? Well, let's do Sarah Connor is Sarah Connor from Terminator 2 in the first movie.
Yeah. It looks confusing. I just watched it a little bit before we recorded, but and it looks like, and the kind of cool thing about this is that they can constantly change the timeline because of the time travel element. But here's the thing: if you're going to do a different timeline, you kind of got to do what J.J. Abrams did, I think, and restart it and just have a new timeline, reset rules. J.J. Abrams did Star Trek. Sorry,
Oh yeah,
not Terminator. But you've
would
got
be
to
amazing,
That
though.
would be. J.J. Abrams should probably just do everything.
anything sci-fi. J.J. Abrams.
J. Abrams.
J. Abrams.
Hashtag JJ. What did they call? They called him Jar Jar Abrams.
Oh yeah.
I think Kevin Smith called him Jar Jar Abrams, which I thought was awesome. That's what the JJ stands for.
That's funny.
And we'll talk about JJ Abrams here shortly. I think we're going to spend a good chunk on that trailer.
I think so.
But I'm not a huge Terminator fan. I've never really been a huge Terminator fan. Your brother is a big Terminator fan.
I don't know if he still is. He used to be. Yeah.
He's the reason we saw Salvation.
Yeah. I like them. I think they're fun movies. But at this point, they get so convoluted that it's almost like...
That's a good word for
I don't care about the story. I just want to see old-ass Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. This is the biggest problem I have. And the first two trailers we're going to talk about kind of deals with old guys in movies, okay? How do you write in that a robot has gray hair and saggy tits? I'm talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. How do you write that in, that a robot ages?
I have no idea.
He's a robot. The T-3000 mutates.
Yeah.
So is he going to mutate into an old man robot?
Maybe he's blending in with the... Because
Why-
an old man robot looks a lot less suspicious than if we had Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s running around.
Why not just bring Lou Ferrigno in for all...
Let's do it. Let's have him Hulk
He
out
can play
in
the
it.
Hulk
There we
in
go.
the next Avengers. He's Hulk's dad. He's Mark Ruffalo's dad. He's Bruce Banner the first.
I'd be okay with that.
I just don't get this old, like Bruce Willis. I was waiting for him to show up in the Fast 7 trailer, by the way. I just don't get... I get Arnold was a key part of the first two Terminators. There's probably not a Terminator without Arnold Schwarzenegger. But you made Salvation without him. For the most part, without him.
Without the real Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So why do you feel the need to have... I'm not a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan anymore. I was when I was 5. And I saw Last Action Hero, which I saw the other day. Doesn't hold up.
Oh.
But
I'm going to watch that soon.
What do you think about Arnold? You like Arnold?
I like him to an extent.
Okay.
He's not what he once was by any means, but like...
He's not the Governator.
No. He's not even the Tominator anymore.
I'll be back. He's the Flabinator.
He really is.
And I know I don't have room to talk, but this is Mr. Universe. This is Mr. Olympia. And now he's probably like David Hasselhoff. He gets drunk and eats hamburgers on his bathroom floor. That's what I imagine this Terminator movie being about. It's just him struggling with his saggy tits and balls. That's what I imagine. That's what it is. It's the Terminator because life is about to terminate Arnold Schwarzenegger in like 10, 15 years.
And people are going to see it, so...
True.
They're going to pay for that.
Do you like the trailer for Genesis? I think it's a good trailer.
I think it's a good trailer, and I'm probably going to see it somewhere down the road, but I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters.
I probably won't see it in theaters, but I'll probably watch it when it comes out on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next trailer, Fast 7. I know a lot of people are excited about this. I've never gotten into the Fast 7. The previous... I saw the first one. Thought it was good. I've seen some of Tokyo Drift because I like Lucas. Josh Lucas? No, is that his name?
Lucas Black.
Lucas Black.
Is that it?
Yes, it is Lucas Black. But I didn't like Tokyo Drift. What do you think of 7?
I'm excited for it.
Spoiler alert, Paul Walker's character dies in it. Has to, right?
I think
He's
so.
the only good thing about this entire series.
Yeah.
I love Paul Walker. But not enough to watch these movies. I watched 8 Below and cried. Not because of Paul Walker, because of the Huskies, but Paul Walker was good in it.
He was good in it. I don't know. I think what I'm hoping, just to kind of keep it respectful, just because of how he did in real life die, that they don't kill him off in a movie about speeding cars.
Well, he can't die in a crash.
No.
He's got to die in like a shootout,
if they do
where he's
kill
got
him
to have
off,
cancer.
it's got to be something really heroic. I think
That's dignified.
And like the trailer does make it look, or kind of,
he looks badass.
He's the hero of the trailer.
Yeah.
And
he throws a woman into a windshield.
Well,
I wouldn't call. He tells her to jump, and then he throws her. And he doesn't like throw her nicely or kind of toss her. He throws her. He chucks her into a windshield.
I'm pretty sure that windshield cracked.
Yeah, and she's a skinny chick, but he threw her into a windshield.
Yeah, of a speeding car.
Yeah, and
Out of a speeding semi.
And you see Ludacris die in the trailer.
Oh yeah,
hopefully. Kidding. But you know what? I've always there's so many Asian drivers in Fast 7. That's what makes it hard to believe. Because they're not good drivers. Maybe that's why they're doing the drifting and stuff.
Maybe.
That's why they invented
That's why they invented drifting.
Drifting was invented by accident. It was just some Asian lady who lost control of her car. That's what it really was. But anyway, what do you think of the trailer? Are you going to see this in theaters?
I might.
No, I would not pay $9.50 to see it.
Depends on who I'm going with.
Okay.
If, like, I don't want to go with someone that's...
Well, yeah, if Kate Upton's like, hey, let's go see Fast 7, I'm not going to be like, no, let's not. I'm going to say, yeah, Kate Upton, let's go.
Yeah.
I'll buy everything.
But, like, it's one of those things where, like, I'm not going to go with someone that's, you know, I don't think we could see it together because it would just lead to an argument, I think.
No, we've seen movies that we don't like.
Well, yeah.
Have the same opinion.
But, those have always led to arguments, I think.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
We went and saw Transformers.
Did you like Transformers?
I did. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was... a lot of people were saying it's the worst movie of all time, and I beg to differ.
I don't know.
People have not watched The Son of the Mask. People have not watched Dumb and Dumber. And I know.
Dumb and Dumber, too.
Everyone loves Dumb and Dumber. I hate Dumb and Dumber.
Everybody, you know... I read an article about Dumb and Dumber 2 the other day, and they were basically talking about the only people that are going to see it are basically doing it out of, like, some forced, like... attempt to like try and preserve some nostalgia.
Yeah, and I just they waited too long to do this.
They really did.
10 years probably would have been the max they could have waited, but that's a different argument for a different day.
Anyway,
I mean, I'm sure these movies are fun, and I'm sure they're not bad movies. And if I sat down and actually watched them all, I'd probably like. The new ones I've heard are great. I just don't like the concept.
See, with me, it's I guess I'm more of a fan of like over the top kind of movies. I like the whole family angle that they play out with them. Lately I've gotten to be a bit more sentimental. So I kind of latch on to stuff like that. Where, like, you have that real tight-knit group.
Yeah. Because he does say that these aren't my friends.
These aren't my friends. They're family. Yeah.
He should just stick to I Am Groot. That was the best career choice that Vin Diesel could have made. Is just 3 words... not being on screen, just being a tree.
Wouldn't it have been great at the end of that trailer where instead of him saying, I don't got friends, I got family, he just said, we are Groot?
We are Groot. That would have been great.
That would have been fantastic.
I probably would have gone to see that. A crossover between Fast 7 and Guardians. I'd probably watch that. Okay, let's move on to the 2 better trailers.
Okay.
The first, the second best trailer I've seen in a really long time. Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Pratt's the man. Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm not gonna lie. I currently the biggest man crush on Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
like
Anna Faris, watch out. If me and Daulton never get near Chris Pratt, you're probably gonna have to fend us off.
Yeah,
you really are.
But that movie looks like what a Jurassic Park sequel should be. I think.
Was it Steven Sommers or Joe Johnston that did Jurassic Park 3?
It was Joe Johnson.
Okay, Joe Johnson did not do a great job. I watched it about a month ago, and I did not like it. I think
It's
Spinosaurus being the major dinosaur was a big mistake.
I think so.
I didn't like the cast. I hate Tia Leone. I cannot
She
stand
drives me nuts in that movie.
Yes, William H. Macy is one of my favorites. He's a terrific actor. Sam Grant. Sam Neill. Good Lord, his character is Dr. Grant. Sam Neill is always going to be Dr. Alan Grant, and he's always great. I didn't like the fact that Laura Dern and him divorced.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. I thought that was a poor choice in writing.
Yeah.
Especially when it is sort of a kid's film.
It's kind of
sort of a
weird
kid's
place
film.
to take that. Yeah.
It is, and they were a good couple. And
They were.
After the first one, they really bonded, and it looked like they were going to have kids together and whatever. So I think that's what happens when he goes from Spielberg, the greatest action director I think of all time, and then you give it to Joe Johnson, who had a lot of success with The Mummy and some other films.
Yeah.
But he tends to kind of do this. He's kind of a series killer. He's kind of a Joel Schumacher type director. Jurassic World, though.
Jurassic World.
13 years later. Great story, I think.
Yeah.
Another company buys the park, decides to reinvigorate the process, reopen it. I hear a lot of people bitching. Yeah, but they created it. It's fiction. It's a movie. It can't happen anyway. Disregard your own reason and rationale for 2.5 hours. It's a movie.
If you want to complain about the fact that they created a dinosaur, why stop there? You might as well complain about the fact that they brought dinosaurs back from the dead in the first place.
True. Or how about this, that none of the dinosaurs have feathers? Because we've learned in the last 10 years that most dinosaurs probably were feathered. Why not complain about the fact that all the dinosaurs in the first movie weren't all from the same time period? They were all from... The T-Rex is not from the Jurassic time period. Like, let's start there if you're going to complain about this. Or how about you just shut the hell up and enjoy the movie, because Jurassic Park is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Guys, it's dinosaurs eating people.
Exactly.
That's why.
Did you complain about King
complain
Kong?
about it?
What kind of ape is he? Is he a gorilla? Is he a silverback? Shut up. Just
well,
enjoy
he
the film.
is a giant silverback.
Okay, but okay.
He's a giganticus silverbackius.
Oh,
of course. That's the scientific name for it.
I just think he's a big gorilla. The movie looks great. The trailer was very well done. The teaser.
That teaser alone.
The 20-second teaser.
I could have been happy with just that.
And I like that Chris Pratt is the sensible, probably going to be the hero.
Yeah.
He's the guy who says, he's kind of the Ian Malcolm of this. He's the, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, you created a super dinosaur. Why are you...
Not a good idea.
The fact that he can play Andy on Parks and Rec, and then go to this film, that's great.
That is.
Because he's going to be a major star.
Yeah.
Over the next few years. Because I've heard that they're going to do a Jurassic World 2.
I've heard that he's also going to possibly be in a Magnificent Seven remake.
Yeah.
That I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, or I kind of want to point out, is I like how this almost feels like a sequel to the original Jurassic Park more than the other two.
Well, and actually, it's more...
It's, to me, feels like...
they're kind of disregarding the third one.
They really
which is
are.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like... what was I going to say? It kind of feels like the flip side of Jurassic Park. The first one was about the scientists. It was about them running from the dinosaurs. Chris Pratt's character in Jurassic World reminds me of Muldoon in that first movie.
That's a good point, too.
Yeah. It seems more like they're hunting each other in this new one. Yeah. So that'll be exciting. That's a different take on it.
The best part of that trailer to me is when Chris Pratt's on the motorcycle. He comes tearing out, and then the Raptors aren't after him.
They're after something else.
They're after something else, or something is after all of them. And that to me makes... I mean, the Raptors... By the way, if we're going to talk about making up dinosaurs, the Velociraptors are made up.
Yeah.
There is no dinosaur called the Velociraptor that is 6 foot tall and that is that kind of a predator. There's Osiraptor, who is similar to that. Velociraptor is actually 5 foot tall, if that, and was a scavenger. So if you're going to get mad about making up dinosaurs, go back to the first one and be pissed about the Velociraptors. But they're the coolest part of Jurassic Park.
Boom.
I think. Boom.
Mic drop.
I'm about
We're not going to actually drop the mic, though, because...
I'm about to drop the mic when we talk about this last trailer, too, because I have a bone to pick with people about this one. But Jurassic World, I'm excited. And the cool thing about Jurassic World is we only have to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
June?
Yeah.
May?
June?
I think it's June 2015. So. I'm super excited.
2015 is going to be a great year for movies.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic summer. So should we talk about this other trailer, or should we just not talk about it? It's not that important.
No,
let's
just go ahead and skip it.
I mean, it's not like... I mean, trailers every day give me the chills when I watch them.
Yeah, me too.
And bring me to the edge of tears. I mean, The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah.
I could not wait the week of Thanksgiving. As much as Jurassic World was awesome, as much as I'm super excited to see that.
We were really spoiled this Thanksgiving week, weren't we?
We really were. I could not wait for Thursday at midnight when the Force Awakens trailer dropped.
Yeah.
And I was not disappointed. The very first shot
that was
is enough.
That first shot was possibly one of the boldest things they could have ever done.
This is what I would have done
series.
if I was making the trailer. That first trailer would be 5 seconds, and it would just be that opening, and then it would go to the music and the Star Wars, The Force Awakens. And I know a lot of people are upset. We'll get to that here in a second. That trailer looks amazing, and it doesn't tell you anything about the story, which is good. I want to know about the story when I go to the theater. The special effects look amazing. When the Millennium Falcon flies out, I just got chills.
That music,
yes.
the scene,
I'm
just
not
everything
even,
about
you
that.
Can look. I just got goosebumps.
Ugh,
I just
me too.
got goosebumps and the chills just thinking. I mean, Star Wars to me. I was a Star Trek guy first, and then the 20th anniversary Star Wars came out in 1997. Watched all 3 of them, and forever my life was changed after that because it's probably the greatest sci-fi movies of all time.
Yeah.
Saw the prequels in theaters, all 3 of them. I'm a fan of the prequels. I know they're not great. I know that they did a lot of damage to
There's some problems with them,
but they're still fantastic.
They're still
it's
good
such
movies.
A great story. It's such an epic from 1 to now 9. It's going to be an epic story. I'm so excited to see this film.
Yeah, me too.
What do you want to see in this? What would be the ideal scenario for Luke Skywalker for you?
You know,
do you want to see him become Darth Vader?
I don't know. Honestly, I want to see him. I don't know. I would like to see him maybe become Darth Vader, but at the same time, I kind of like to see him become Obi-Wan too. I don't know where I want that to go.
I don't want to see him be the villain.
No?
I don't want him to go to the dark side because I think the whole 4 through 6 hinges on him resisting that urge.
That's true.
And continuing on the legacy of the Jedi. Because at the point, we know there's another.
Yeah.
Because Yoda says, no, there is another. But really to that point, Luke is the only hope for the Jedi. And I mean, in that galaxy, in that world, you've got to know there's other troubles. There's other evils that are going to exist. They're going to resurrect the Empire, I mean. So that's going to be good. I just hope, and Adam Driver is going to play the villain.
That's
interesting. And also, I'm sorry, David Sedaris. That's his voice.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's like James Earl Jones. That's a great voice.
That is.
Serkis. I'm sorry, not David Sedaris. Andy Serkis.
Was it Andy Serkis?
It was Andy Serkis.
I'd heard that Benedict Cumberbatch did that voice.
No, that was Andy Serkis, actually.
Huh.
Yeah. But the trailer looks great. I'm excited for this young cast, especially the young man that we see in the opening. Let's talk about this. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, have you ever seen Attack the Block?
Have you?
I have not.
We need to.
We need to.
Did you watch? Have you seen the trailer for that?
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Nick Frost is in it.
Yeah,
I did not know. It looks great.
I've heard great things about that.
This kid's name is Michael Boyega.
Boyega.
How is it?
Boyega.
Boyega.
Something
Michael
like
Boyega. That. He's a black guy from London. He's a Brit.
That's Attack the Block is where you got to start.
Right. It's an alien film.
Yeah.
It looks hilarious and great. There's a bunch of gangbangers in like. They're Cockneys.
London.
Yeah, they're Southeast London. They're Cockneys, and they go into this alien attack, and these gangsters are planning on defending their turf.
Yeah.
I saw the preview, and I really wanted to see it. I think that should be a goal of ours here. I have it on my Netflix queue, actually, so maybe I'll get it here in the next couple weeks. There was a lot of outrage about the black stormtrooper. Okay? First of all, it's 2014. Get the fuck over it.
Word.
Seriously, Mace Windu is black. Lando, And now the nerd are upset because they've all got to look like Jango Fett because in the originals they were all. Here's the thing though: between 4 and 6, all the clones were gone. The clones were dead. The Empire had to reshuffle their core and recruited and created other clones.
I kind of looked into it a little bit. The only remaining clones from the original prequel trilogy were the Emperor's guards. They were the highest rank. Everyone else, they started recruiting people.
Yeah.
There's a scene in A New Hope
Some of them
where
were probably slaves.
Luke Skywalker says that he was planning on going to the Imperial Academy. That's where they train stormtroopers. So, of course, there would be stormtroopers of every color.
So it's just that it was an excuse to be racist.
Yeah.
When people said they had a problem with it. I have no problem with it at all.
I have none either.
But here's the grand picture that everyone seems to be missing about this. He's probably not a stormtrooper.
Probably not.
Remember in A New Hope when Luke and Han were disguised as stormtroopers? Do you remember that scene?
Yeah. Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
Yeah, exactly. So he's running from something.
Yeah.
He suddenly wakes up. The movie is The Force Awakens. He
Is
probably
he the Force?
has something to do with the Force. And he might be the other Hope.
What if, and hear me out, he's just asleep through the whole movie, and he just wakes up at the end.
It's Christopher Nolan actually did this instead of J.J. Abrams.
And the title just flashed up, Force Awakens.
It's ridiculous. He's probably the main character.
Yeah.
He's probably the new main character of this film. He's probably going to be a Jedi or has something to do with the story that's a major plot line. And he was probably hiding and he's not even a stormtrooper. People got this wrong. He's actually a sand trooper because he has the orange on his uniform. Right? They're sand troopers.
And he's in the sand.
And he's in the sand. Probably Tatooine.
Probably.
I'd imagine is that landscape. Boba Fett is in the trailer, isn't he?
I don't know if Boba Fett's in there, but
I think Boba Fett's going to play a role.
that would be exciting.
Yeah, but
There's a flying orange dreamsicle in the trailer.
There is. There is. What'd you think of the droid?
That droid is actually pretty cool.
It is a cool.
It's a really cool design.
Yeah.
Like, I rewatched the trailer about 1,000 times
I've
now.
watched it many times.
And I just kind of can't help but marvel at how cool everything looks.
I think it's everything that they wish they could have done in 1977.
I think so.
Had the technology existed. And those movies, even though the technology was not great back then, they hold up so well because the story is so good. Especially Empire Strikes Back. I mean, that Hoth battle scene still holds up. And it was all claymation and models and limited special effects. And
it still looks fantastic.
It looks great. The sets were so intricate and well built. And I'm glad that George Lucas is done. Honestly, I think J.J. Abrams, even though he's only directing this first in the new trilogy, I think J.J. Abrams is going to get off to a great start.
Yeah.
He killed Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. He made me a fan of Star Trek.
Yeah. Made a lot of people.
Have you seen the parody video that they do where if George Lucas had directed the Force Awakens trailer?
No.
It is fantastic.
I'll have to check it out.
Basically, it just adds a bunch of unnecessary stuff to everything. And the scene where they reveal the Sith, for no reason at all, there's just a ghost of Anakin Skywalker standing in the forest.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm excited about this movie, but here's the problem with the trailer. It's so far away.
Oh, it is.
It's next Christmas. That's a year away. We have to wait a year.
But we also have all of those other movies to tide us over until then.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Avengers. We have Jurassic World.
Should we talk about the Avengers trailer while we're on?
Yeah, we can talk about the Age of... I know it's been a while since the Age of Ultron trailer came out, but it was a great trailer.
But it was.
And it does look very good. And they're setting up Civil War.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
While we're on the topic of voices, James Spader as Ultron in Age of Ultron. If I wasn't a fan of the Avengers movies, that trailer would make me one.
Yeah, James Spader, people don't realize.
So good in that.
People don't realize how good of an actor James Spader is.
Yeah.
He's one of the best villain actors ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And so, yeah, the Avengers, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but the Avengers is a great film, and I am excited for it. There's a lot of good movies coming out.
There really is.
There's a ton.
There's also, have you seen the new Mad Max trailer?
Mad Max, I'm not a huge fan of the originals, but I love Tom Hardy and anything he does.
Yeah.
The trailer looks amazing.
That new one is going to be phenomenal.
Fury
it's
Road
just going
looks
to be
great.
balls to the wall insanity, I think.
You're absolutely right. So let's go ahead and talk about the movies we saw here the last few minutes of the podcast. Let's start with the one we saw about 3 weeks ago, Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6.
I've never been an animated movie fan, but when Pixar started, even as a kid, I was not a huge Disney fan, I should say. Animated movies, yes, but not Disney. Pixar came out, though, and changed the game. There's not many movies that Pixar's done, and this isn't Pixar.
No.
But it's
in that same
vein
sort of Pixar.
Ever since Pixar started and we had these sort of more adult computer-generated movies, there's not many that I haven't liked. I love Over the Hedge. I love WALL-E. I love How to Train Your Dragon.
Great movies.
All those are really fun, really cool movies. Monsters, Inc. This was right in there. This was a Wreck-It Ralph type movie. It was such a cool idea. It's based on Big Hero 6, which is a comic book.
Very loosely based, I found out. I was really disappointed when I found out how different it was.
But it doesn't make you want to read the comic, right? It
No.
makes you want to see more of the film.
It made me want to read the comic, but then I found out what the comic is like, and it's a little more manga-y than I'm wanting.
It is more manga.
And then I kind of just decided, well, let's just have 8 more Big Hero 6 movies.
Which is what they're going to do.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
A great cast. You have T.J. Miller.
T.J. Miller, he was great in that movie.
He's great in everything.
Yeah.
Damon Wayans Jr.
Yeah.
Did not know he was in that. Great cast. Fantastic cast.
Great characters. Maya
Rudolph was in it. So it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I think it's the best animated film I've ever seen.
Really?
I'm going to go that far.
Wow.
It trumps... before, my favorites were like WALL-E and Finding Nemo. For right now, it's the best I think I've ever seen.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Because, I mean, I'm a huge action comic book hero fan. I think it's a little bit better than The Invincibles, honestly.
The Incredibles?
The Incredibles, sorry. The Incredibles.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I think it's a little bit better than The Incredibles.
The Incredibles for me is one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's a great film.
It is. On a scale of, let's go 1 to 10, what would you give the Big Hero 6?
I would give it an 8.8.
Okay.
What would you give it?
I would give it a very solid 8.
Okay.
Very, very solid 8.
Okay.
It was a phenomenal movie.
Like Casablanca on my scale, it's a 10.
See, I guess for me...
Dark Knight, it would be a 9.5 on my scale.
I guess for me it kind of varies on the scales because, like, I don't judge all of my movies on the same scale.
I typically don't either. I guess if we're going animated, that would be the highest animated I'd go.
Oh, okay.
I would go with probably Up as like an 8.2, 8.3.
Yeah. I kind of just based them on how fun and how much enjoyment I had, so I guess I'd give it a 9. I really enjoyed it.
It's a super fun movie.
It is.
It doesn't drag. It's not slow at all. It starts right away. Baymax is such a lovable character, and I think that's really How to Train Your Dragon. Toothless. You're drawn to Toothless.
Yeah.
You're drawn to WALL-E.
You're
drawn to the
Guardians of the Galaxy. You're drawn to Groot.
You're drawn to Groot.
I found a picture, by the way, of and I thought it was just the greatest thing. It's Baymax looking down at little baby potted plant Groot, and he asks him, "Are you satisfied with my care?" And Groot just says, "I am Groot."
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
And you know what? Without spoiling too much of it, Groot and Baymax have a lot in common.
They really do.
The way that movie turned out, and the sort of selflessness of those characters.
Both of those were really surprising in those movies.
Yeah, so I love Baymax. So overall I thought it was a really great movie.
What'd you think of the short at the beginning?
I loved the short.
Oh, that was so good. It looked phenomenal.
A couple years ago, I can't remember, maybe it was Wreck-It Ralph. Was it The Paperman?
Paperman.
Which was a more traditional animated short. Disney's animated shorts are fantastic.
Yeah.
I believe Paperman won the Oscar for best animated short.
And it completely deserved it.
It was such a cool story. Feast. Let's talk about Feast.
Let's talk about it.
A cute dog.
Yeah. Gotta love cute dogs.
Yeah, and you're thinking when it starts, like, are we really just going to sit here and watch 10 minutes of a little dog eat?
Yeah.
The story is so great.
It is.
It's so awesome.
I think it's one of those things with Disney. I always forget how good they are.
It's true.
It always surprises me.
Yeah.
And Feast was like the turn it takes.
Yeah.
It's so. It's so heartwarming. It's so just like
it gets
perfect
depressing
short
for about a minute.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you realize how awesome the twist is. I would not be surprised if that becomes a feature film.
Yeah.
Paperman, it's hard to do a feature.
Yeah.
I think Feast is one that could become a major feature film. I would watch a 2-hour-long movie.
I would too.
But yeah, the whole experience of Big Hero 6 was a lot of fun.
It really was. Last thing before we move on to the next movie, Feast or Paperman?
Oh, I like Paperman because it's kind of that old school animation and just the way that it was written, and I don't think they said a word in the entire thing.
No.
But Feast is right up there.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It really is.
It's like 1A, 1B rather than 1-2.
Yeah.
I think.
It's honestly, they're both fantastic. They both kind of play into what I love about
it's going to win the Oscar.
Shorts.
It's going to win the best short Oscar.
It's I don't know. It really just, both of them, I can't pick. It's kind of like picking a favorite child.
That's what I'm saying. It's 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
It's hard. They're very, very good shorts.
So we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, we are. Okay, we'll end the podcast on not being on the same page on something. I saw Horrible Bosses 2 last week. You saw it on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was better than the first.
See, I thought the first was just a little better.
I thought they were different enough, which was good.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't fall into the Hangover trap.
Yeah.
They didn't fall into we've got to do the exact same movie twice.
Yeah.
And so that was good.
With
Charlie.
With The Hangover, it was, let's do the same movie, and then let's do a completely different movie.
That's the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There was more Charlie.
More
which
Charlie.
I thought was good.
Yeah.
And the characters were much more exaggerated.
Yeah. They really were.
Jason Bateman was much more of a straight man in this one. Jason Sudeikis was much stupider in this one. And Charlie was just much more Charlie. Because that's how Charlie Day is.
Yeah.
I thought Jennifer Aniston was great. The outfit that she wears in one of the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
That is probably worth the price of admission in itself. And I've never been a Jennifer Aniston fan. I've never been a fan of her or thought she was attractive until I saw the first Horrible Bosses, and then We're the Millers, and then Horrible Bosses 2. There's something about Jason Sudeikis, apparently,
that just brings out the
whoreness of Jennifer Aniston. I mean, she looks great.
She does.
Maybe it's the hair color. Maybe it's her personality.
It might be.
It's probably the personality more than anything. But yeah, she looks great. I forgot that Lindsay Sloan was in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
That's Charlie Day's wife.
That's right.
She has a bigger role.
She does.
She always is good at playing like the psycho girlfriend. If you've never seen She's Out of My League, or she's also in A Good Old Fashioned Orgy.
Oh, really?
Jason Sudeikis. Which if you've never seen that movie, go see that movie. It's such a good movie. But I liked it. I thought Christoph Waltz was great.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Chris
Pine was fantastic.
There's a twist in the film, which I think I didn't see coming.
No.
I mean, I sort of did, but I didn't.
I kind of did, but at the same time, it was kind of surprising, too.
You really didn't know,
I
think, which is kind of a good... Because in a day and age where you can see the ending to most films, you really didn't know what was coming. And it was kind of a cool... you could have guessed it, but at the same time, I don't think you would have put money on it.
I think for me, I kind of did see it coming, but, by the time it got to that point, I didn't want it to come.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. But I thought it was funnier. The first 5 minutes of the film is hilarious. And if there's an opening to a movie that's just going to get you in and ready to laugh...
That's the one.
Because here's the thing, something that The Hangover failed to do in the second and the third films. And I like those films.
Yeah.
I love The Hangover. I think that they were slow.
They really
The second and third were slow. Even the first to a certain degree.
But the first at least had to take the time to set everything up.
Right, and the first one also, once it hit you, it was just nonstop for the rest of the film. I think the thing with Horrible Bosses 2 is you get in the theater, you start to see the movie, and you're laughing 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I think, with 22 Jump Street, it was kind of the same way. That's what a good sequel is. Whether it's comedy or action, if you're in that movie 5-6 minutes in, you're there.
I think the thing with what a good sequel needs to do is basically, if you're seeing the second one, there's a good chance that you saw the first. So you already know this world. You already know how things work here. So why waste time setting stuff up again?
Yeah.
The same stuff up, I guess. Just jump right into it. That's, I think, why, to me, I often have a hard time going back and watching the first movie sometimes, is that it's maybe a little too much building.
I mean, that's, if you think about Empire Strikes Back, it's just, you start.
Yeah.
You get there, you're at Hoth. You start. If you think about The Dark Knight is one of the best openings of a film ever. The bank heist. I mean, it's such an exciting. You don't know what's going on. You're like, who is this? It just
jumps right into the thick of it.
And then suddenly you meet the Joker.
Yeah.
Within 15 minutes.
They introduced the villain before the hero in that movie.
And that movie is much more about the Joker than anything else. But that being said,
look at a
great sequel.
What was I gonna say? Look at the intro to the second Captain America.
True.
They just drop him on that boat and he just tears it up.
That's very true. So I think that's the big thing with sequels is you really have to hit the action early and get people interested in it. And I think Horrible Bosses did that.
Uh-huh.
So what do you like better in the first one than the second? What's better in the first? Even the first Motherfucker Jones had more to do in the second movie and actually plays a key part.
He did.
And I thought that was great. Kevin Spacey is hilarious in the second one. More so, I think, even in the first one.
I think initially, and Horrible Bosses 2 may be one of those movies that does eventually grow on me more. Because don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. But there was something about it, and it might have just been the atmosphere. It was Thanksgiving, it was crowded, it was kind of, we were running late to it. I might have just caught it at a wrong time. Yeah. Were you?
Yeah.
So,
but generally a comedy is better when you're in a crowded theater.
Yeah.
Because usually when you're in a crowded theater, it's a serious movie. It's hard to get through.
Yeah.
Especially when kids are talking.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to go to the movies with me when kids are talking. But with a comedy, I find it better to be with a bunch of people.
I do, but I think it's just kind of all those things combined. It kind of made for a stressful movie experience.
Okay.
But it's, the more I think about it, like, the thing that got me is I didn't realize that scene at the end with Kevin Spacey was the end. And it kind of, like, the first one, they do that whole thing where Charlie Day basically just screams at Jennifer Aniston, and that's the end. They do that again, and it
Did you
works.
just give away the ending to Horrible Bosses 2?
I did not.
You said that Kevin Spacey's at the end. That's a bit of a spoiler.
You think?
A little bit.
Well, spoiler alert.
It's a little late for that. It's a little late for that.
I don't think it really gives away too much.
Okay.
He's in the trailer.
Yeah, but, okay, it doesn't give away a ton, but it gives away a little bit.
A little bit. A little bit.
So, what would you rate it?
I would give it, I think, for now, I'm going to stay a 7 out of 10.
I give it 8 Jennifer Aniston breastises out of 10. I think it's a good movie. It's an 8.
It is.
Comedy-wise, it's an 8. For a comedy sequel, it's an 8. Every day, it's probably a 6.
I'm gonna give it...
If I'm comparing it to, like, Casablanca or, like 12 Years a Slave, it's probably a 5 or 6. But for a comedy and for a sequel...
It was good.
It's up there.
Give it 7 escape zip lines out of...
I'll give it 8 shower buddies. Shower daddies. out of 10. So, we'll probably be seeing some other films here pretty soon. I really want to see Inherent Vice.
That looks good.
That's another film that's coming out that
like
I really want to
said,
see.
Mad Max looks phenomenal.
That's in May, correct?
February.
Oh, it's sooner.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic.
But
in the meantime, and there's still movies we haven't seen. Birdman.
Birdman.
Which, by the way, SAG Award nominations, Golden Globe, last couple days. Birdman nominated 7 times for Golden Globes, 5 times for SAG. Michael Keaton might win an Oscar this year.
He might.
He
That'd be cool.
It would be. Naomi Watts was nominated for playing Daca.
Really?
St. Vincent. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I'm hoping that she gets it.
So, next podcast, which will hopefully be next week.
Hopefully.
We're going to do kind of a year-end, our favorite books, our favorite movies, favorite TV.
Favorite everything.
Yeah, favorite pop culture items. And who knows, maybe we'll have a guest or two.
Maybe.
To kind of talk about that.
Speaking of guests, our resident Jurassic Park expert just walked in, and we'd like to know what he thinks of the trailer for Jurassic World.
You gotta talk on the mic, dipshit.
I don't want to talk on the mic. I don't want to talk.
We're gonna have to cut this part now.
Oh, well.
See what you did? You threw him on the spot, now I have to cut the part.
I thought he was just going to say one thing.
Yeah. When he hits puberty and his voice is deeper, then he could be on the podcast.
He's really shy, guys. He sounds really high up.
Yeah.
His voice.
He has a vagina. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of whatever we decide to call this podcast. The podcast without no name. It's kind of like the horse with no name.
It really is.
Maybe that should be our theme song.
There you go.
We were in through the desert on a podcast with no name.
Perfect.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Luke.
And I'm Daulton.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.